the companies that export. So companies like Coca-Cola, Starbucks, they are the export of the US. And that is the US culture that other countries are consuming right now. So that is a big export of the US. It's not even covered here. Chinese food is really popular in the US, I know, even in India, where I come from. So that's a big cultural export and gives soft power to different nations. So this is in this generation, digital age, now that we are moving away from actual hard goods and consuming more and more and spending more money on softer goods, services, then culture becomes really important. And every country needs to try to do its best to export their culture, and gives more economic power and more political power in general. Then why are we talking about it here in terms of citizen diplomacy? Because trade and economic relations is a very important diplomacy tool as well. The more I read about, let's say, Nigerian culture, read about Nigerian books, authors, see movies, or you have actors who are represented on global scene, the more influence you have in over the whole world. So in general, and I more understand your culture, I understand where you're coming from. So that's a very important diplomatic tool as well. NFTs are a digital representation of intangibles and physical non-fungibles. So anything that is in the hard goods, like this table, my house, uh, anything and everything that I own apart from money typically is non-fungible. So anything physical generally is non-fungible. The biggest asset in the world is real estate, more than oil and everything else. And all of real estate is non-fungible. One real estate is not the same as the other. And NFTs are a digital representation of things. So potential market of NFTs is bigger than the market for money. And that's why most big companies in the cryptocurrency space right now are trying to move into NFTs, because that's just in 20 years time, when NFTs actually find their niches and these niches grow really big, this is the major opportunity of the next decade. And digital representation of intangibles are music, movies, IP, intellectual property. Everything can be depicted by NFTs and transacted online. People can be given permissions. Your subscription to Amazon, subscription to Spotify Music can be an NFT that you can sell in the market trade with other people if you have used some time on it, or your reputation online, all of that. One thing I wanted to mention, why again NFTs, because this is the right time. Anytime there's a shift in the primitives, there's an opportunity for others to come in. Hollywood is really, really big and it is centralized. And when internet came about to be, Hollywood sort of lost its edge. It dominated the news cycles. Even if you go on TV right now, in the US, I'm talking about. In Nigeria, I think it's Nollywood. I'm not so sure. Sorry about it. So that would dominate everything, all the mind space of the people. But when YouTube came about, when TikTok came about, the creator economy kind of kicked in. You could be a star tomorrow if you perform really well, and you'll have to. Oh, thanks. So it's Nollywood. I got it right. So that was an opportunity for an average consumer to actually be a star on that platform, which is more open. NFTs and crypto take it a step further, where you can create and monetize on that. So monetizing on TikTok and YouTube is difficult, and the rules change. The good thing about crypto and NFTs is the rules are defined. If they change, you will get to know, and you can adapt to that. A lot of people get kicked off of YouTube if they say something that is a little more over the line. That's not going to happen here. So it's a little bit more inclusive of all voices. Sorry, this seems like a lecture. I promise it's not supposed to be, but let's move on to the fun parts. Okay, here. Let's talk about a little bit on the opportunity side. So why are you here right now? Because NFTs have the opportunity for artists to create new digital art, generative art, where you can write algorithms or define certain rules by which the art will be created. Or crossover, you can have traditional art, create an NFT for that and sell them together, where the provenance and who owned what, the history of the art is also more intact. Technologists, if any of you are programmers or actually want to be, it's not too difficult because the whole NFT space is very open source. So a lot of the code is already out there that you can reuse for your own purpose and learn online. There's tons of tutorials. So you can create new marketplaces, new entertainment apps, dApps that you can create to trade NFTs or certain kinds of NFTs. So every NFT, every kind is its own niche. And then protocols for NFTs, such as new wallets, new identity that you can create. If you are in business, you can start marketing agencies, and that's been a very profitable business in the last 3 years. Now, obviously, it's going through a downturn because the whole money has been sucked out of the crypto market, but it is a viable business that people have started. So just PR marketing for these companies. And then supply chain is a big area. It is very hard to crack, and you have to work with big companies. Global supply chains are very, very difficult, very paper driven. So there's like tens or hundreds of papers that are signed when, let's say, a cocoa bean comes from Africa, Ivory Coast, to the US. All of these can be NFTs and digitally stored, and there'd be less paperwork and more trust in the history of where that bean has been. Right. Anyways, sorry. Oh, this is not good. Let me go back. Oh, this gives the answer. I thought I had deleted this.
We didn't see.
Okay. It's not allowing me to. I'll have to compress it. All right. So I wanted to check with you guys, and if you are still there on menti.com, use this code. And I wanted to learn from you what's not an NFT or what cannot be an NFT. I don't know if some people saw the answer or some idea of what cannot be. So let's keep it out there.
I need to get back to the website.
Yes. So if you are on your desktop, maybe use menti.com on your phone so that you can view this Zoom call as well as interact with it. All right, we have some answers I'm going to show. So wait, I'm not sure what is visible. Zoom is a little weird and I'm not very accustomed to it. So what is visible on my screen right now?
I see the house sold as an NFT.
Okay, yes, and that's great. So this house was sold in 2022 as the first NFT house. Possibly there were others sold earlier. There were a few attempts, but now there are tons more. Maybe 10 plus houses have been sold as NFTs. NFT doesn't give you the right. It's a pointer. It's just a piece of information on a network of servers. Regulations can give you that right. So it's much easier to trade this house now. So some of the companies are actually doing that in Thailand. People who just want to invest money, or people who want to get a vacation rental and don't have time and have a lot of money, they can go on certain websites, and these companies are trying to find your vacation rentals in Southeast Asia, where you can go for your winter time, spend a nice time there. Literally, you just buy the NFT for $500,000, $1 million. And because of the reputation of that company and the local regulations that allow that to happen, you can own that house just based on that NFT. Maybe right now you'll have to do some extra paperwork, but regulations will evolve to make it easier. News articles, Cointelegraph actually does allow you to really buy each and every news article. They sell 80 NFTs of every news article. If it's an important big news, people buy it for $100 a piece or something like that. A lot of portals coming to do music and pictures. I actually bought music by an artist that I didn't even know. I was like, oh, I'm interested because that was like the first time I heard about it a couple of years ago. Now there are platforms that are selling music and you can own partially. So it's a partial ownership of a house or music or something else, loyalty cards and everything can be sold online as an NFT, which is something unique.
So in the
Divine,
chat, there's a lot of people saying that the house is not an NFT, but actually they're all NFTs, right?
A house is non-fungible. The question is it a token? And if you put that house, put in writing in legal that this house is now going to be under the control of whoever controls that, the key to that particular NFT or is the owner of the house. So you'll have to put that in the papers of the house, make a company out of it and say the company is owned by this person who holds the key to that NFT or who can move that NFT or who owns that NFT. So yes, you can do that. It's a gray area right now because the regulations are actually a little behind. People are ready to move forward, but regulations haven't caught up, probably for good reason. What happens if you lose your NFT? So there has to be some mechanism for that. Anyways, do you know, actually, before we move on to Nigeria and the NFT scene, these are the punks. These were the original 10,000 punks. They were all in a file. Who owned this punk and how did they own it? These 10,000 punks, which are now billions of dollars together, maybe tens of millions, if or hundreds of millions, if not billions. Yeah, hundreds of millions for now, right now. They all were sitting on the private server of the company that created them, and they sold it. And when they sold it in the market, let me show you how they did that. So what did they put on the blockchain? On the blockchain, they said you can buy a CryptoPunk and we'll give you the number. And correspondingly in that file, you can find the number of your punk. What you really own is just an entry on the blockchain. And this is the hash of that image. So if you take this image, you create a hash. People who are not familiar with it, you apply an algorithm on it. So really big texts or really small texts, all kinds of files and of all kinds of sizes can be hashed. And it'll give you a particular string of numbers and alphabets. That is this hash. So, and this is mostly unique. There are intricacies to it, but that's how you own that. You know that you own that punk because you can see what you buy is actually this, and you can count the number for it. You can go here and take a hash of this file, and you have it here. So yeah, now in 2021, this was in 2017 when they first released it. 2021 is when they put the punks on the blockchain itself. They had to reduce the quality a little bit and actually put the code to create these punks on the blockchain. Divine, why don't you talk about some of the NFT scenes in Nigeria? What's happening there? And I'll stop sharing. If you want me to share, I can. Divine, are you there?
Maybe he had a connection issue.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry, I've been speaking and it seems I'm on mute. Am I audible, please? Can everyone hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, yes.
All right, thank you very much. So by now we've been talking about NFTs, which are these non-fungible tokens. And so it means that they are intangible. You can't exchange their value for another thing. Just like Mr. Sudhir has been saying, cryptocurrencies can be exchanged for another cryptocurrency that have similar value. But NFTs are unique that they can't be exchanged. So when it comes to the Nigerian market, there are lots of artists or individuals who have seen NFTs as a way for them to be more creative and then get more value, especially in the global space right now. And I just want to mention a few of these artists who have seen that NFTs have been truly instrumental in changing or crafting their trajectory as an artist. One of such is a Nigerian artist known as Osinachi. The truth is that Osinachi actually came to the scene because he was using Microsoft Word, the Microsoft Word we all know, to create NFTs. So he was one of the first crypto artists from Africa to have his work sold by Christie Auctions House in Europe, which is a very big, which is a very big company. And his series of 5 NFTs, which are the different shades of water, was inspired by the work of British artist who was David Hockney and sold for $130,000. So we can just imagine this huge quotation that this artist in Nigeria came by using just Microsoft Word to generate NFTs, and look at how much he was able to sell them in value. And this was one artist. The second artist I would like to mention is Uyi Amokoro. He co-founded We Are Masters, if that's something we are familiar with, and is a digital marketplace specializing in African crypto collectibles and NFTs. And in his own words, he says that NFTs are a massive market that anyone can be an artist in. And that is so true because anyone can naturally be an artist in NFT. All you need is a mobile device. Look at Osinachi mentioned earlier, who used Microsoft Word to be able to create NFTs. So as an artist, as an individual, it's an opportunity for you to actually have a unique artist, or sorry, a unique work, because just like the name implies, it is intangible, and so it cannot be duplicated or copied by any other person. So when it comes to NFTs, there are so many benefits, just like Mr. Sudhir has mentioned earlier. Number one is that it allows you to showcase your work to a global audience without the need for a physical gallery or intermediaries. But also, it enables artists to be able to earn royalties every time their work is resold, which is not possible for the traditional art market. But more to that, it also gives artists more control over their intellectual property rights because they can then prove authorship and authenticity of their work. And it's not just specific to artists because it then means that NFTs are being applied in different sectors. I mean, even in terms of certificates, it would then mean that your certificates, for instance, cannot be doubted because it is unique and it is very, very verifiable on the blockchain technology. So there's a lot of potential when it comes to NFTs. But at this point, I would like to hand back to Mr. Sudhir as he continues his presentation.
Can I actually add one thing in there about, how we actually are using NFTs at the People's Accords as membership tokens. So for, the more you learn about blockchain and NFTs, you'll see there's a variety of things you can do with them. And for example, like your college degree it's in a way an NFT. It's not exchangeable for somebody else's degree. It's not the same. It's your unique degree. And that's something like what we're doing with the NFTs you receive from our program. It's going to be used for voting on our platform, for getting access to certain sites to prove you are a member of this society. So anyways, there's so much you can do, from art to culture to actual, transactions throughout the economy, that make NFTs so interesting as part of the many options that are now presented to us with blockchain. And then also we will have other webinars on AI in the future. And thank you, Sudhir, for going into so much detail today, and for everyone who's come. And it's okay if you feel a little behind in some of the topics. We're recording this and it will be posted on our YouTube channel later, so you can review it. And we'd be happy to answer any of your questions in the chat either now as well as after the webinar. So thank you.
All right. I'll continue for now. But before I continue, actually, does anybody want to share anything about Nigeria that they think should be an NFT? I know pottery is really big in India. It's being adopted in the West as well. So really handcrafted art like statues should be NFTs as well. And when they are traded in the international market, that certificate is basically holding the history, who owned it previously, who created it at what time, where. But what do you think in Africa or in Nigeria in particular should be part of NFT? You can just write it in the chat itself. I like embroidery. Olahire or Olajire, do you want to talk about embroidery? I think that's a really good candidate. Voting, I like that. So you could give NFTs to people about their identity and then do voting, which doesn't require NFTs, but it can be done on the blockchain. So there are records around it. Marketing, yes. Yeah. Traditional marketing was TV, then it was more targeted. And now marketing is coming to Web3 world in a very different sense, where what you buy, it's a lot more insights into who these people are who are buying this and what do they own previously. Okay, college certificates as NFTs, national identification system, totally agree there. For the person who wrote embroidery, do you do embroidery yourself?
Hi, can you hear me?
Sorry, yeah, I can hear you. Could you talk a little bit more about your idea there?
Yeah, I just thought that since our traditional clothes usually have this embroidery pattern in them, if we were to separate that and translate on a clean cloth, still on those traditional clothes, a picture of that could be sold as an NFT.
True. You could create an actual embroidery, do a digital representation of that using just a photo, or actually creating it online as well, or using some kind of software on top of your camera, and yeah, sell that as an NFT along with the physical good. And land certificate of ownership, right? There are so many companies right now trying to crack that code. It's a little bit challenging and depends on the region that you're part of. Any other ideas before we move on and try to do something, like get into a little bit of nitty gritty of it? Right, passports. Canada has tried that. Nexus passes, I believe, from Canada and US. You can get a special pass. Now you don't have to use your passport. There, it was a trial run where you could use NFTs and scan your eyes to potentially cross the border. True.
That's something I was interested in having, because I was born in Germany, so I have a German birth certificate, but I'm an American citizen. And when I traveled or I want to verify my identity, I have problems with it all the time.
Okay.
So it's.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So lots of possibilities. Let's go a little bit into, and sorry, this is again a little bit of a lecture, but I'll try to be quick here. Then we move on to the really fun parts of it. Oh, missed this. So 2009, when Bitcoin was birthed, won't go into the details there. Tons of videos online for that. 2012 to 2015 was when people started using it. Earlier, you needed to be more technical, but now wallet technology, number of wallets expanded, so made it easier to hold your crypto. There were exchanges, you can buy Bitcoin, but also there were Dogecoin, Ripple, Litecoin. So that was a big opportunity of that era where people were really creating coins out of nowhere. Dogecoin was a replica really based on Bitcoin. It was a fork of Bitcoin. So you take an existing code, change a few things about it, change how fast it's, what is the velocity of it, how fast is the inflation, that is how many are given out to each node after every block, how many are total created, and then just bring your own thing to market what you think is right. Litecoin is similar, all forks. Ethereum was somewhat different, and it wanted to have decentralized computing outside and not just financial markets. So the major first thing on Ethereum, and that's when it really started hitting the masses, is you could create your own coins. Divine could create a Divine coin on Ethereum, and if people believed in him, that he would actually create a good project, they could buy this. He could sell it in the market. There was a little bit of crackdown because there were scams around it. Tons of people made money illegally, but a lot of innovation came out of that era. And that was the first major use of Ethereum blockchain, just to create your own custom coins. Then the second big use of the Ethereum or the blockchain network as a whole was around NFTs in 2019, 2021 era. A new layer ones and layer twos came about to be. I won't go into the details there. And then right now there's less cultural stuff happening, but more technology driven stuff happening there. So it's not very market focused. It's more technological changes that we are working towards right now, it seems. But NFTs are undergoing their own issues and evolving. So that's a big opportunity right now. We'll talk about it. Let's get to some interesting parts here. I hope I'm sharing my screen and not the browser itself. And I will.
I see your desktop.
Okay, nothing else, right? Just the desktop. Okay, not this one. Where is it? Sorry, I have 3 monitors and one of them is this hidden here. So we'll try to set up Coinbase wallet, and I will show very quickly here on desktop how to use it. If you have mobile phone, I'll ask Lydia to show how to use that. Desktop is much easier because you can request test Ether, test coins on it more easily. Really, that's the only reason. Otherwise, I would say mobile wallets are much more secure because they have passed, like generally, if you download from Play Store or App Store, somebody has looked into it generally, and it's a little more secure ecosystem of what they can and cannot do. So if you go into, and I have already downloaded it, so probably not the best way. I will have to use another one. So I would write Coinbase wallet. Let's download this wallet because it has some nice, interesting features to it that you would enjoy. Are you guys with me? Let me know in the comment section if you're falling behind. So this is one of the activities we are doing, setting up the wallet and doing some interaction there. The other one would be actually touching the NFTs a little bit. But you need to set up your wallet, get some test ETH to do anything else. That's why this becomes a major hurdle if you don't have it. Okay, great. I know Ismail is with me. Anybody else? Okay,
So I'm on the mobile version, so I downloaded the app, and I'm ready.
All right, so let me do this first, and then I will have you show the mobile version. So I'm downloading it for desktop browser. Oh. So go through the motions to download it. And then I'll show you how to set it up. If you haven't used it, if you have used it before, that's great. Okay. So what is visible? Sometimes it hides. Let me know if you don't see. I think you are able to see. A small window on my tab is open now. I'm going to say create new wallet. I'll show you my seed phrase. So I'll not use this again. If you are following me, what you create right now on our chat, do not use it. And you have to keep this very safe. If you lose it, you lose access to your assets. These are the sort of old technology wallets. There are new kinds of wallets coming onto the market, which do not have this kind of a seed phrase, which if you lose all your assets. But we'll get into that later. Clip to clipboard, make sure you have it because that's an important part of the next step. One of the other steps we will have. The first and the last words are season and emotion. I'll understand that. Go ahead, season. And what was the last one? I did say that, emotion. Password, I will say peoples123. So I'm creating a wallet. Claim your free username. That's the first interesting part we have come to. Let me know if you want a minute. Actually, I should just give it to you, Lydia, because you can show as well, right? On the mobile phone, how to do it.
On the mobile version? Okay, so let me share my screen here. Start broadcast, let's see. Okay. So you can see my screen?
I can, yeah.
Okay, so if I go to Coinbase app, so this one is the Coinbase wallet, is the name of the app. And I can enable push notifications if I'd like. So this is the wallet that I created. Maybe I can log out and create a new one. This is like my...
Yeah. Yeah, while you log out, I'll take over the screen and show some of the other things, and then you can reshare on the mobile version. Or maybe, yeah.
Sure.
Let me share that. Let me share my screen for now.
So, I think I stopped sharing. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So claim for free. This in more native versions would be an NFT. Right now, it's not an NFT because Coinbase holds it. And Coinbase is giving this service to you. So just like you have an email ID, you can create your .cb.id ID. And let's say I have it people's 50. It's available. I want to create this subdomain .cb.id. I have it. So if you send anything to me, people's 50, I would receive it instantaneously, generally instantaneously. Now, let's go to the settings and go to networks, go into testnets and get some Sepolia Ether. And this raindrop represents that the faucet is unavailable. I'll have to maybe use the other faucet where I do have Sepolia ETH. It's a test network. So it will allow us to simulate what happens in Ethereum mainnet, or all of these other test networks are widely similar, but not all of them are very popular. Sepolia is the more popular and recent one. So Ethereum is the main network here, but the other networks you can use is like BNB, Base, cheaper generally, but they are different. So assets on Base or BNB are not the same assets on Ethereum, but if you send it to somebody and if they own their wallet, not like an exchange, they'll be able to get that assets. That's one, but let me come to actually getting the assets and doing things later. Let me show you the community side of it. I want to follow Lydia. I want to see what she is up to. lydiashare.eth. Lydia, I think you own this because in NFTs, when I go, I see citizen diplomats. I was like, oh, this is the same Lydia Share. So I want to see what you're up to. So I will, oh, sorry, follow you. So if,
Yeah, that's me.
sorry?
So I actually own several, Ethereum domains, and so I bought the one with my name.
Yeah.
And the People's
Okay.
Accords also, we own web3diplomacy.eth as well as peoplesaccords.eth. And we accept crypto donations at those addresses.
Okay, great. So if a new NFT or new crypto is added into her account, her address, which is linked to lydiashare.eth, there's an account in the background, which is all numbers. I will be notified. So this is the notification that I'll receive here when Lydia mints a new NFT or does some transactions. I can do other things, like it'll give you, like, you can go and buy stuff. That's all okay. So that was one interesting aspect. The other one is actually getting the ETH and transferring. So I don't have ETH here. Let me try one more time to show if I can get in the networks. Okay, I have it here, and I think I sent it to Lydia earlier this morning. So
I was making
another,
that some of the many people follow like whales with lots of resources in their wallet. Many people will like to follow them, but also if you are an artist and you are producing your own NFT collections, you definitely want to encourage people maybe to follow you on an app like Coinbase Wallet, which is one of the most popular, I think, in the world. And there's new ones coming out all the time that we won't have time in this webinar to cover, but we'll have future webinars with where we'll go into more detail.
right.
Do you want me to share my screen?
One more minute. I wanted to share the transactions. How, actually, yeah, you go ahead and then I'll share later.
Well, first I'll just ask, is there anyone who was on their phone who wasn't able to set up their wallet? I'm looking at the chat just to see if anyone could say yes or no. So on the phone, on the mobile version, it's exactly the same. It's just a slightly different format of the screen. So I'm gonna open up my Coinbase wallet app here and show you what it looks like when you get to create a new wallet. You can say create new wallet, continue, and it's the same thing that you saw on the desktop with the seed phrase to back up your wallet. So I will copy this to clipboard and I will back up manually. Oh, I actually did not read it. It's the example and dismiss are the first and last. So we'll go example, dismiss, continue. And my phone used my Face ID actually to save my seed phrase. There's an option which I noticed on the mobile version. You can save to your iCloud your seed phrase, which is useful for preventing from losing your seed phrase. This happens. You've probably heard stories of people with thousands of Bitcoin who lost their seed phrase and they can never access their millions of dollars. So here I can go into from the mobile version. Here are my multiple wallets. I can add and manage my wallets. I can have more than one. Buy, swap, bridge, send, receive. But if I want to connect to the test net, also note that you can, in the mobile app, enter the browser from here. So you can go and get your Sepolia faucet. So I actually was just there. Can go to the Sepolia faucet from my app. I apologize. I have like 10% battery right now, and I've had some extreme Wi-Fi issues the last 2 days. So my phone is going a little slow. But here's where I'd copy and paste my Ethereum address into here, and I will receive this testnet ETH. Right now, I don't think we don't have time for this webinar for me to go through the whole thing on the mobile app, but I just want to show you that it's almost the same as what Sudhir showed us on the desktop version. It's just all housed within the mobile app. And it's as simple as you can copy your address. So if I go back to my wallet here, I can copy my address. So if I see, I clicked on these two squares here at the top, it opened my ability to receive assets. And this is my Ethereum address here. And I copied it to my clipboard. I'm going back to the browser, to the Sepolia faucet, and typing and pasting it in here. It wants me to create a new Alchemy account, which is something you can do after you sign up. You'll be able to paste your Ethereum address here and receive the testnet ETH. Now, testnet ETH is really useful for developers, but also at the People's Accords, we'll be using it for our voting platform and transactions, because when you're using Ethereum, it costs gas fees for every single transaction. So in order to basically allow you to vote using blockchain and participate in our system without spending money, we will all be using the testnet ETH. So this is a really important workshop, and we'll probably have to have another one so that everyone understands and feels comfortable using crypto and getting testnet ETH to participate in our programs. So thank you, Sudhir. Do you want me to stop sharing now, or?
Yeah, I can share here. I wanted to go over a couple other things.
Sure.
So we may not be able to get to some of the other good stuff, but this is one of my favorite parts to show. So I think, yeah, this is the right one where I have some testnet ETH here. So ETH is a Ethereum coin, the native coin, and it's on testnet. So it doesn't really hold any monetary value in the real world. I will send some to, let's say, $5 to on Sepolia Ethereum. I can choose another one, but this is what I want to choose and where I have sort of assets to share.eth. So I want to send it to her and this money. It may take over 5 minutes. It's much faster for international transactions. She doesn't even have to be in the same country. You would have heard of this everywhere. It's much easier, much faster to send money to people on blockchains. That was the first use case. Bitcoin is quite difficult. If you have assets, and really people can try to get their salaries right now in the US in assets like USDC, so USD coins, you can get it in your Coinbase account and actually start spending from there, send money to people as well from there. So this is just one aspect of it and how it's so powerful and so fast. The other aspect is you own 100% of it. That comes with a lot of risk. You can lose this money. So always use testnets for now and don't put real money out there on these wallets. There are better ways to do it, but I can transfer this to the same to MetaMask as well. So if you download, and I have already done this on MetaMask, I downloaded MetaMask and used the same seed phrase. This was the 12-word seed phrase that I had in Coinbase. And I won't go into the same thing because very generic. Download MetaMask, say that you already have a wallet, you input the seed phrase, which is pretty common 12-word seed phrase. They will take it and they will show your account and they will show your assets. They won't show activity because they have to sync with the blockchain. They don't typically do that. If you do any activities here, you may not see those activities in Coinbase, but you can go to the to Etherscan and actually see all the history on your particular account. We won't go there right now, but that's what I wanted to show. Like, you completely own your assets. And if you do a transaction, you will see that.
Thank you, Sudhir. There was one question from Mr. Mohammed Abdullahi. He asks if Coinbase Wallet, he uses it to play a game and send rewards on Coinbase. Can you clarify your question, or would you like to ask it again, please?
So I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Mohammed,
Mohammed, can you ask the question one more time?
so from my understanding, if that's real money, not on testnet, you could potentially, yeah, get your rewards to Coinbase app and get paid there. If it's actually Ethereum, you can transfer it to anywhere. If it's in-game currency, you can probably exchange it either on dApps like Uniswap to get real money. Real money means USD coins, which you can transfer it over to your bank account, or go to an exchange, transfer it over to money, Nigerian money, and then take it out into your bank account. So getting from your real world money of like your actual currency, dollars in the US, to anything like Ethereum or coins or tokens in a particular game can be a little challenging getting in there and getting out. But if you have set it up and done it a couple of times, it's not as difficult. You can do it pretty easy. All right, I will move on. So I want to play around a little bit with NFT as well and want to give you a highlight of NFT technology. After Bitcoin came about to be in 2009, Namecoin was a fork of Bitcoin, very similar. It was supposed to be used for domain registry. Didn't get as popular. 2014 was the first NFT created by the name Quantum. I think I have it somewhere. It was a generative NFT. So based on certain permutations, combinations, it was generated. Let me see if I have that picture. Oh, sorry, I probably don't. Anyways. Oh yeah, here is the link that I provided. This was the first NFT actually in the whole scene. It was on the blockchain that actually nobody uses now. So it was resold, I think, on Ethereum again. 2017, Autoglyphs came. That was the first major generative art NFT. Generative art, why is there so much interest? Because it's the real native language of the blockchain. When I told you about punks, they were generative, but these pictures lived somewhere else on somebody's server. Then they said IPFS is better. And then they changed it again to actually IPFS is one thing. You can still lose this picture. If you really have paid $500,000 to buy this punk, it should be on the blockchain. So they reminted it on the blockchain, slightly different pictures, but they were very similar for each punk. Autoglyphs here. And Larva Labs did this first drop, and they also created CryptoPunks. This is much, much simpler. It has more definition in the punks and the faces, but this is just generative art. This is abstract art, and computer is generating it based on certain inputs and certain randomness. They are creating this, and we will create that too. That happened.
It reminds me of the embroidery a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I was interested because embroidery, if you can do your embroidery, and I will show you, I really want to jump to that part now, but you can create a program around your embroidery and try to do different patterns automatically, and people can go and mint these different patterns. So you can do one embroidery, think of it, but maybe not define it completely, define the rules and let people generate it and get the definition themselves. We'll come to that. Anyways, Autoglyphs happened, CryptoKitties happened. It was more interactive. You can buy and breed your virtual cats. There were too many virtual cats, so price dropped there by the end. And then 2021, major auction houses, Christie's and Sotheby's got involved. And now Art Blocks Engine is actually working with Sotheby's to do curated drops of like artists who are famous or who are really good, maybe native to NFT world or really coming from the and established in the traditional art, coming to NFTs, trying to do this thing. Creating generative art is a little difficult, so they have their technology, and you can use that to do generative art drops. But you can also do it yourself. There's a lot of open source material on the market. Does anybody have any ideas that they are thinking about apart from embroidery for generative art? I'm bullish on it for a couple different reasons. But before that, does anybody have any ideas?
I have ideas as well, but I'm eager to hear what everyone else thinks.
Maybe I'll skip this part for now. I will come to the generative art aspect of it. To switch the order a little bit. If you are on desktop, I don't know how this will play on mobile phone. Go to P5JS. In the meantime, actually, Lydia, do you want to share your ideas?
I like the idea of the non-fungible token for, so at least in the research I've done in the past, where it can, blockchain in particular, not just NFTs, but NFTs as well for real estate purposes has been really attractive, especially in African countries for land rights ownership, because sometimes there's maybe not, there could be ambiguous records, and if there's an established blockchain record for land rights and land ownership, it really helps people. But that's not the most bullish case. I think in terms of what it can do for art and assets, where you can have shared ownership of rare art. I mean, there's just such a wide variety of things that can be done with this. Sudhir,
Right.
what do you think?
Yeah, fractional sharing of art is already being done by something like Masterworks in the US, but it is by US law. Would people outside the US be interested in it? Probably not, but people are going to be more interested if there's an NFT drop of, let's say, Taylor Swift. I would buy that because it's going to be global. Lots of people are going to use it. And if I'm not in the US and I'm a fan, definitely that's the one I would trust more, because that's more global platform where global laws apply. And then it's actually written in the, like, if that NFT sells, everybody would get proceeds. And that smart contract is on the chain for everybody to see how the proceeds will be split, or if that makes revenue, how it will be shared with the people. So there are already platforms that do that, that are starting to do that, I would say. Or real estate, lots of people cannot afford or just want to invest small amounts in real estate. Yeah, that's a big opportunity. Title transfers, just land records are a great opportunity. I agree there.
So
All
what
right,
is P5JS?
Yeah, so if you go into p5js.org, it's a open source library. They have an editor. Let's go into editor. I wanted to show you generative art. Generative art is a little difficult. I am not an artist, but when I was playing around with it, I thought this is amazing. I would go into File, Examples. And one of the things that I really liked was the kaleidoscope. So kaleidoscope is an instrument where there are mirrors at certain angles. So if you introduce an object, it's just a very weird, surreal experience. I don't want to show that over there. I want to show it here, how it would seem in a digital world. Let's run it. You can do this as, you can mint this as an NFT and introduce certain randomness based on people's existing NFTs. You can introduce patterns of how this will be populated. So if Lydia, because she owns lydiashare.eth, maybe lydiashare.eth would be written here. And if she starts writing, it'll get a little messy. Maybe you'll have to think about it. But when I start writing here, let's say Lydia. or Y, just Y, it starts making patterns. So it's already divided. It's sort of mirror dimensions, you can see. Or there are mirrors in here, virtual mirrors, that will start creating patterns if you do something. I'll stop it, try again. I'll do L. That's a bad L. Y. Well, only.
That's interesting. So is it only geometrical patterns, or can it do also faces?
I think it'll be difficult to draw a face because it'll start drawing in every different direction. There's like 6 directions, I think, here. Let's put a circle and put 2 eyes and a face.
Oh, that's cool.
And body. This is generative because in the sense I am giving some randomness, I'm actually playing with it, but it is generating a lot of it by itself. So in this new age, first of all, generative is you are working with the machine to create something, and the machine is the real co-creator here. It is adding value to it. One of the very famous arts right now in the NFT industry, the artist actually did not even think of that shape. The artist was trying to create a code, and then the shapes that came out of it, some were more interesting and sold for a lot more value. I don't know if I can get that.
Is that people?
No, people, he created a lot of that, and he knew. There was another one. I don't know if I have it here. Yeah, this one. So somebody was trying to do this generative art. There is a known pattern of things that could be done. These are different rings. And how many different ways can you put a string around these different rings? Literally, that's what he was doing. And he introduced something like these are the rings of different sizes. And maybe with different probabilities, these rings would be populated on the screen. There's a string that has to go around all of it, and the colors have to be filled. I think there were like 1,000 different shapes he dropped. Potentially, there could be thousands or hundreds or millions. Some of these generative art patterns can have trillions of combinations. Not this one, but potentially. You can define probabilities, and you can go through them, and you can see what are the options that somebody could see, and go through thousands of them yourself to see how it looks. And then when somebody actually mints it on the blockchain, because the code is on this, the code is already on the blockchain. Here, you if people mint, you'll have to put in the smart contract. And I'm not a coder, I'm not a programmer myself. You can make something like if somebody mints based on their name or time of the day, like the previous block's name or previous block's contents, you can define certain things that it'll be minted that way.
But you could do so much with maybe if you're an artist or you want to, celebrate Nigerian history, Nigerian art, Nigerian culture. There could be many different NFT projects and generative art as well to go with it that could be good opportunities for you or your friends. And so I think we're almost out of time for today. I think how do you want to finish it off?
I want to show one more OpenSea platform where you can mint your art, have people buy it. I'm not using that to show anything today right now because you'll have to actually use real money here. They don't use a Sepolia testnet yet. It's probably coming soon. But another one is app.ens. When I showed you how you can get your ID on Coinbase technology works on ENS. So ENS interacts with it, or it interacts with ENS. When I send money to Lydia at lydiashare.cb.id, it routes through ENS to Coinbase, gets the address, and sends her the money. Here I can, this is not the right one. I just want to show not everybody probably can follow if you don't have this testnet ETH.
And also, just so for everyone on the call still, the reason it's nice to name your ENS domain is because the hash on a wallet was, it's a number at the end of the day. It's a series of numbers. And so sending that as a name or encoding it as like lydiashare.eth or your username makes it a lot easier to share your wallet address and participate in the buying and selling of crypto and crypto products instead of just sharing the numbers and the hash.
Right. This is my address number. So if this is my address, it's much more difficult to remember. I'll have to send it to you, but you can remember people's 50.cb.id is where I'm at. So let's say I want to do people's 50. I think it's available. I want to mint that. I'm already connected to Sepolia ETH. I think I have some in my wallet. Coinbase doesn't own that. I would own this when I get it, and it will start showing in my wallet too. It's a ERC Sun 21 typical NFT, but it's a name as well. And they'll do the services. This allows you to use their services basically. When you own this NFT, they will allow you to use their resolving features, but they don't need to really have those. So the services are separate, but when you own this, then they give their resolving services to you, where people's 50.eth, if you send any money to it, I'll get it. That's their service. I want to begin. I want to do this transaction. It used to be multiple steps. Now it's a single step, I believe. Confirm. Transaction is sent. It'll take a little bit of time, maybe a minute or two to confirm. I can see on Etherscan how this transaction is progressing. But at the end of it, I will own people's 50.eth. I'll see if maybe it'll show up in my wallet. Stopped. I don't think it went through. But you get the idea. I will stop here. If it comes to my wallet, I will share with the team here. But questions, comments?
I think there were some people who didn't finish setting up their wallet. So what I'm thinking we can do, and since many came back and forth, I guess for prayer time, we're going to share the recording on YouTube. And we're also going to include the step-by-step of what was talked about for setting up your Coinbase wallet, as well as getting your testnet ETH, because this will be really important for participating in future voting activities here at the People's Accords. And yeah, if anyone in the group would like to say anything or ask any final questions, and then we will wrap it up with a little summary and some closing remarks. Okay, well, if nobody wants to speak up right now, maybe it's late, and I know it seems like, I guess there's prayer time happening in the middle.
There's a hand up. There's a hand up.
We're in 3 or 4 time zones.
Glorious.
It's okay. So first of all, I want to say thank you, Sudhir, today. Sudhir is an incredibly accomplished professional in the field of technology, and we're really lucky to have him here giving us this information today. And wait, I think I heard somebody else come off mute. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, there was a hand up. Glorious, you can go.
Welcome.
Yeah, I wanted to ask if there was a site one could put NFTs on and sell them.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
There are sites where one could sell NFTs.
Oh, what are the sites?
Yeah.
OpenSea is the biggest NFT website. Apart from that, there's always new ones that come in. And then there are certain very niche market-focused sites. Audius is for music. Real estate, people are developing their own, and pretty small right now. And like ENS is for Ethereum name service, where you can mint it, but secondary sales are also on OpenSea. So there's always like, and every 6 months there's a new one that is popular, but I would say OpenSea is the biggest one that you need to look around at.
Thank you.
Thank you, and stick around definitely if you want to follow up on that question. Reach out to other members of the group, and we'll be posting this as well on our YouTube channel. Are there any other questions? And to follow up, you can mint your designs on OpenSea for free. It's pretty easy to do. There should be some other tutorials online if you want to play around more with your own generative art. There are a lot of tools and resources out there. So we definitely encourage you to explore more of the NFT world and what is available, especially in terms of you know, artists and sharing culture and for entrepreneurship for young Nigerians. Thank you, Sudhir, for taking your time this morning to give us this webinar. I know that you put a lot of thought and effort into making it engaging and interactive. And I think maybe next time we will plan maybe something more like a workshop where everyone who participates can get some sort of certificate for their participation, because trust me, he's so knowledgeable in this. He had a lot of good stuff planned. We just didn't have time today. And Divine, I'd like to pass the microphone to you if you'd like to close out and give us some final remarks.
All right. Thank you very much. And just to confirm audible again, if you could just raise your hand or signal, that would be perfect. But I'm just waiting for your confirmation. All right, thank you very much. Really, really grateful to Mr. Sudhir. He has truly walked us through this world of NFTs, a lot of insights and a lot of new knowledge that we've gotten from this workshop. So, Mr. Sudhir, once again, we thank you very much. We also want to thank the founder of the People's Accord and the Citizen Diplomat Society, Lydia. She is also making it all possible for us to be here and really get into the world of NFTs and blockchain at the People's Accord and as citizen diplomats. And to every single one of you who is right here, we really, really appreciate your time and joining us to learn more about this world. This is just one step. There is still so much to come. And within the coming weeks and days, we'll be sure that we'll create a webinar that can really help you learn more created topics that you would have wanted to learn. So we are truly excited to have each and every one of you once here again. And thank you so much. With this is how we'll come to the end of the webinar. The recording is going to be shared, and you're also going to be able to find this recording on our YouTube channel. You can follow us at The People's Accords if you want to know more about what we do, thepeoplesaccords.org, or in our website as well. So feel free to reach out and learn about what we are doing. If you want to support us by becoming a citizen diplomat, definitely do reach out to us. So at this point, I'll be saying I want to say good night because it's night in my end, but good morning, good afternoon, good evening to where you are, and we hope to see you once again next time. Take care, everyone.